Target spotted. Our team captured the area. Fighter squadron, take off. Enemy team captured the area.
And there it is between the Midway and the Narimova and the other tier 10 CVs. Survivability, it's kind of a Midway, nothing to see here. Maneuverability, it's kind of a Midway as well, nothing to see here. The guns a bit less than the Midway, but still okay. And dive bombers, that's where it gets interesting. You do not have 36, you have 24 of them. Instead of 2, you get 1 squadron of 5, but they drops 2 bombs per plane, and the preparation time, it's a little bit higher. Still 30 seconds versus 26, it's not going to make any difference to your gameplay, let's be honest about it. In terms of HP, so you get the same HP pool, so you have less bombers but they do have more life, so they're harder to take down, that's what it means. Healthy pool 90,000, accuracy it's the same. The damage of the bombs it's lower than the Midway. Midway real damage around 1500 on average, at the Delano Roosevelt only 1000, so your DPM goes down from 6500 to 4200, and so goes your fire chance and your fires per minute, so it's less dive bombers oriented than the Midway. Of course, this changes when we take a look at the torpedo bombers of that thing. And what do we have here? If I can manage to get it on one screen, that's good. 24 dive bombers, this time 2 squadrons of 4, each dropping 2 torpedoes per plane. And the prep time is also around the 6-second mark. So it's not like the Hornet when you have one very beefy dive bomber squadron that gets forever to take ready, and torpedo bombers that are actually faster to be released. Here they are kind of aligned in terms of preparation time, so they will be able to be ready together. The same story for the HP pool, almost 4000 HP per torpedo bomber. That's absolutely ridiculous, a healthy pool of 90,000. Yeah, whatever. So they drop 8, so you get 16 torpedoes per wave, but they're only dealing 1500 damage. Only 1500, yeah, right. So the torpedo DPM, it's absolutely going through the roof. Yeah, and the flooding chance, it's also going through the roof, better than Nakimov, certainly better than Hakuryu, but you've seen that the spread, it's a lot wider, so you will not be able to put all of them on a DD, but still you're certainly able to take them out in 1 or 2 passes, absolutely no problem. And so what do we have here? We have the actually almost the best DPM at tier 10. 20,000, so the Nahimova is beaten, only the Manfred is not, but the Manfred cannot play with fires and flood. That thing is absolutely good. It's very good at putting things on fire and excellent at flooding them, and you get a healthy pools for your bombers of 180,000 versus the Midway's 160,000. And since they take forever to reload, you have to be very stupid or dedicated to actually deplane that thing. It's incredibly hard to... I've never managed to deplane. I've played a dozen battles with it and I've never even come close to deplaning that thing. So it will be putting out damage no matter what happens in the game. And fighters, it's more of the same story. So instead of having 1 squadron of 5, you get 2 squadrons of 3 planes from the Midway. They're quite comparable. The prep time, yeah, because it's a smaller squadron, it's a lot faster, only 22 seconds. What a stupid idea. HP pool, it's the same. Voila, you get 1 more plane, so the squadron HP is higher. The damage is also higher than the Midway, and so yeah, the fighters are stronger. They're going to win almost every dogfight that you will start, but it's not Saipan strong. It's if you dogfight, if you manage to bait them and dogfight next to one of your ships, they will go down. So at least they haven't broken that thing. And the AA, it's an American ship. It does have plenty of it. Nothing to see here. And yeah, let's take a look at it in action. So we have a decent matchmaking. We do have a Manfred von Richthofen on the enemy team, 1 American battleship, 2 Japanese cruisers, 1 bot, and then 3 DD. So it's a fairly, I think it's fairly representative of what you will be meeting at tier 10. Of course, the more battleships you have with that thing, the better it gets, because honestly, that's where you will be able to simply punch through anything and deal your fire and flood damage as well. But yeah, I mean, the problem of the Midway is that it's not very good at dealing with destroyers, and obviously that thing is actually quite good at dealing with it, so it kind of solves that problem. Essentially the fighters are a little bit stronger as well, so yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of dogfighting anything with that thing. And it's almost impossible to deplane, and you get her. So essentially, in short, it's a stronger version of something that was already too strong, because let's be honest here, the tier 10 CVs, they were already overpowered. Every single one of them way too influential when you look at the average battle. How would you say it? Yeah, let's just say that you don't have to work too hard to get excellent results on a tier 10 CV, but certainly you have to work harder than on a tier 10 cruiser, on a tier 10 DD, or on a tier 10 battleship. That's certainly the case. There you see me missing a salvo on the Z52 there. Okay, that's fine, but still only 3 torpedo hits, even if I completely flopped it, and we flowed him once, so yeah. And it's supposed to be balanced by 2 things. The first one is the preparation time, but let's be honest for a second here. Preparation time, it's a non-factor in that case, because it's a little bit longer than the Midway, indeed. But yeah, if you compare that with your travel time, the travel time is the main, what is essentially going to affect your DPM, because it doesn't matter if you take 20 or 30 seconds to be ready, you're going to spend most of your time traveling between your CV and your target. So that's not really affecting the performance of the ship. And by the way, I do take a standard amount of travel time, I think 20 seconds back and 20 seconds forth on my stats sheet. So the DPM that you see there, it's actually taking that into account. You do have a lot more squadrons to manage, that's correct. You have now, instead of having 2 squadrons with the Midway, you actually have 4 of them. There you go, that's 2 German DDs nicely following one another. And yeah, I'm still learning how to place those torpedo bombers to get them exactly on target, because the spread is so big, but yeah, I don't have to work too hard to do it right, essentially. Because yeah, it's kind of hard to miss when you're shooting 8 torpedoes in your squadron, so you're not going to put them all on target unless you're going to be very close to a battleship. You're probably going to land like maybe 10 of them on a destroyer, but that's more than enough to severely handicap it for the rest of the battle, and even taking out. So yeah, you do have a bit more squadrons to manage, the same amount as the Hakuryu, 2 squadrons of fighters and 2 squadrons of torpedo bombers, but it's certainly not as hectic as the Hakuryu, because you're not shooting them every 17 or 80 seconds, so you have a little bit more time to think about what you're going to do, etc. And in any case, as soon as you send those planes into the air, get ready for a massive alpha strike, because that's the gimmick of that thing. You can also play the fire and flooding game the same way that you play it with the Midway. So you send your dive bombers, and then you send those squadrons one by one. That's the main strength, I think, of the FDR, is you really don't have to watch out for your hangar, because it's actually quite possible to get deplaned in a Midway. With that thing there, you just saw what I did to that poor Zao. Oh man. He's going to shoot torpedoes at me, so I'm immediately going to reverse, slow down, and get ready for the wave of torpedoes, because I think I really pissed him off in that case. So I haven't made any significant important play in that battle so far. Yeah, I did take out a DD, that's correct. I did damage another one, that's correct. And yeah, but I'm already at 40k, so it's very good at dealing damage. It's really what that thing does. It's incredibly safe to play. Yes, it does take a bit more skill than the standard Midway, because the Midway only has 2 planes to manage. The torpedo, there you go, that were the torpedoes of the Zao going past me. So it does take a bit more skill to play than the Midway. It's a bit less hectic than the Hakuryu, I would say. it's a bit comparable with the Hornet, with the major difference that the Hornet has to manage two types of planes with a very, very different preparation time and reload time. And so it's very easy to lose your torpedo bombers in a Hornet. Here, there's absolutely no way you're gonna get deplaned at the end of the game, even if you try very, very hard. You really have to do something stupid to get deplaned. And so it's incredibly safe to play. It's consistently, and I would say brainlessly, able to put out damage throughout the entire game, and that's what makes it so strong. That's absolutely what makes that thing ridiculously strong, because I haven't faced one yet in the game for obvious reason. This was recorded using my press account because I'm not sure I will be able to afford it when it comes for sale. I have no idea about the pricing or the crates or whatever. But yeah, so far the fighters are strong, so you cannot really counter it like that. Even if you remove one squadron, I mean, most of them are still going to make their way through the target, so it's very strong with regards to that as well. Yeah, it does take a bit more micromanagement, but honestly, that's probably going to be the balancing factor of that thing. But then why would you play Hakuryu once you have that thing into the game? Because it's a lot safer and a lot easier to play than Hakuryu, simply because, yeah, there you go, you see me trashing that Ameri. I do not even have to think too long before I pick my targets with that thing. It's incredibly easy with regards to that. I'm sending one of my dive bomber squadrons there. These are the 8 torpedoes. Bam, there you go, bye-bye American battleship, and I'm going to reserve the other one for the Manfred. And that's going to be the last strike of the game, and we do win this one on points eventually. And we finish close to 100,000 damage. So in terms of damage, it's of all the ships I have, of all the CVs I have, it's the one with the highest amount of damage. It's actually on par with the Narimova. So just to put things in perspective there on my press account. It's not broken to the point of completely destroying tier 10. But it's certainly going to be more influential than the CVs that are already available, every single one of them, in my opinion. And that makes it actually kind of toxic when you think about it, because CVs are already overpowered at tier 10, and this is just more of it. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Wargaming did ask for our opinion on how to balance that thing, but I did not take the time to fully test it and review it before it was actually issued to the press accounts. And yeah, I saw no complaints from my side. We can only hope that that thing will sit behind a massive paywall and that you will not be seeing it too often. So there you go, that was my take on the FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yes, a bit annoying, but let's see what happens. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe. Take care, that was DFA signing out, bye bye!